I was a lawyer for 30 years in Portland, and as part of that practice, I did adoptions. In the course of that, I met a number of CASAs, and I talked to a lot of judges and a whole lot of lawyers. And I discovered that CASAs had an integral part in helping children who have been removed from their homes try to maintain some level of normality or go back to some level of normality.
I thought about it long and hard whether I wanted to do this or not, because it's a pretty emotional, sensitive subject. And so after the first one, I was a little nervous, but after the first one, then I knew that was what I wanted to do, and it made me feel really good that we had some say in making sure that the kids were cared for in every manner.
And it caught my eye. I'd never heard of CASA, but I've always been interested in helping the kids. I have my heart belongs to the kids. It's just when you get older, that's what happens. This was a way I could give back and not overextend myself, be a part of a kid's life and make a difference. That's what caught I'd never heard of CASA.
CASAs come into the tribal court system here as a representative to speak on behalf of someone who's under the age of 18. Usually that means that they could be a minor in need of care, or they could be a guardian, or there could be an adoption. My experience has all been positive. My experience has been that we need more CASAs because I have a strong belief that kids can contribute a lot to this tribe. I enjoy the potential of kids turning into successful adults, and CASAs are not only one additional resource to provide it, they sometimes can provide a real specific niche that without their presence could not be met, and I worry about maximizing the potential of benefits to a kid if that is not met.
And the CASAs really help children in their educational pursuits, in their home life. The CASA serves as kind of a bridge between the courts, the lawyers, the family, the original family, and the new family if a new family is needed, or just getting back to the original family.
There's things that children's services and their attorneys cannot do, but as a CASA and volunteering for the court, we can speak up for the child to where these others, different people in the field, are not allowed to.
We have so much say, and the judge really does, take our advice and looks at it. And so, yes, it's very much a need on the tribal communities.
Whether it's finding a way to help the youth discover what the underlying issue is. Sometimes it takes a while for people to learn that it's hard to grow up native in a modern world. How do you learn to have a role in both places? How do you mesh that? And sometimes, just going out and doing something like spending time with elders, a kid who begins every day thinking they know everything might not realize that that's exactly what they need, and that's a way to touch into that. A great thing about tribal courts and also TMRBs is that compared to a non-tribal system, there is a broader spectrum of resources and tools and methods and options to use to kind of throw at a quote-unquote problem. And TMRBs are really set up to really hit that spot perfectly. They're able to think a little more holistically. They're able to use the presence of the community of the tribe, whether it's healing, whether it's discussing similar circumstances and how they got through it, whether it's finding a way to help the youth discover what the underlying issue is.
I'm a proud member of the Confederate Tricycle Round. I'm an elder. As an elder, we are to help our community, help our tribal members. And the kids are the most important to us. We and our families, but our kids, elders should be interacting with the kids. They should be teaching us, bring tears to my eyes, we should be teaching them what we know. For my generation, it's hard for us to pass on what we know, even if it's something little. And so I get a chance, which is awesome, to pass this on to some other kids in the community that don't know what it means to be proud of who they are, that they belong. You know, they don't have to be able to sing or drum or dance or whatever, just be. They are part of this tribe, and I want to be able to guide them and walk with them. Wouldn't that be awesome? For me, it's going to be awesome.
It's not just about going to powwows and things like that. It's about their actual culture, maybe talking with some of the elders who have stories that can tell them and things like that, and going and visiting the elder meal site, which is, they can learn a lot there too. But yes, it's very important for them to learn their culture and learn why things are happening, and it may help some of the reasons why they are acting like they're acting, or that helps sometimes.
I think a great thing about kids and adults is that we each can learn from each other. So I'd like to believe it's not only fulfilling for someone involved with that, but also they learn something about themselves. So I'm hoping that it's not just a one-way relationship of the TMRBs and the CASAs influencing and helping and growing the youth, but perhaps it's reciprocal too. And I know a kid would appreciate knowing that they were able to influence and teach someone something. There's room for those little opportunities of life that I call it the car driving moments with a kid. Sometimes if you want to approach a kid to have a discussion or talk with them, if you sit them down and say, okay, Tuesday at 3 o'clock, that's when the talk's going to happen. There's a little bit of shutdown or a little bit of rigidity. And I see that a lot in my courtroom, just because everyone says, how are things going? They say fine. And the car ride metaphor is like sometimes when you're taking a ride with a kid and the kid's in the back seat and the kid's looking out the window and you can look back through the rearview mirror, you sometimes can have a discussion and a connection with them that happens in a way that, for lack of a better word, you sneak in a discussion with the kid without kind of the rigidity and scheduling, giving them time to kind of maybe put their defenses up or open up. And so I would like to see that happen, at least with CASAs, that sometimes just when you're hanging out with a kid, those little moments can sneak up on you and you can have the metaphorical car driving experience.
You know, and the kids, they belong more than, I think, the elders. You know, they're going to be here after us. So.
The point is, we are all working for the best interests of the child.
I'm also a fan of the phrase, don't let perfection be the enemy of today, meaning just because it's not the perfect moment doesn't mean you can't start today. So I would say find it as much as you can and then wake up the next day and do it, and we'll all learn together.
I think a lot of people think it's different than it is, and they get kind of afraid to do it, but I think if you once come and try and see what the results are from what you do, I think you would be very happy for volunteering to do it. It's not scary. I mean, it is a little bit when you first start, but as you go along, you get very comfortable, and it's something worthwhile.
Our interest is for the kids to stay with the family, but if they need to be fostered or something like for the safety of the kid, then, you know, that's our job. You know, to where the courts and stuff may not see that. CASA, yes.
My place as a volunteer is to advocate what I, as a human being, seriously think is the best thing for this child. that has changed. That is the change that my perspective has taken. It is a joy to be able to go into court and say to a judge, I feel that this is the right thing for this other child, for this human being, this other human being who needs my help. And that is worlds different from the lawyer's perspective.